What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Zachary, Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu. What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing good, man. A little cold.
You're all bundled up. I see.
I've had this little thing here, Oregon.
It's a
What
nice
do you
little
call
hat.
this thing? What do you call
I
this?
don't even know. Like a
Toboggan?
yeah, I think so. I would say like an Eskimo hat. I don't know if that's a
Yeah,
racially insensitive thing to say. So if it is, I apologize. But
yeah, you
yeah,
crazy person. Um,
apparently,
but
no
it's
offense
cold.
meant.
It's cold here, and so I was outside, and I just needed something for my ears. You know when your ears get cold? When your
It's
ears
the
get
worst.
cold, that means it's too cold for you to be outside.
Well, you're cold. I'm sick. I've been sick for the past few days. My kids were sick all week last week, and I
Mm,
did not get it until the morning of the game. And Saturday morning, it
wow.
was like, all right, I feel like crap. And so it was a long day Saturday, but we're here. We're powering
So
through
you
it.
were out there just spreading germs. Look at
Spreading
you.
germs. That's it. Yeah, that's me. Anything for a playoff game, you got to do it. Yeah, my
How was
fault. I
it?
didn't It was good. It was good. I mean, it was we'll get into it more, but it was a fun environment. It was not like
Mhm.
the craziest game I've ever been to at Autzen, just because of the, with all due respect, the opponent, like fans were bought in, but it wasn't like, I mean, the USC game earlier this year was a
It
better
was
environment. I'll say that
oh,
much.
okay, that's good to
But
know.
it was a good game for sure.
I didn't miss out.
No, you were fine. Today's show, we're going to break down that James Madison game on Saturday, give some of our biggest takeaways. We're going to talk about the rest of the college football playoff slate in the first round that took place on Friday and Saturday. Then we're going to finish off by giving an early look ahead at the quarterfinals matchup against Texas Tech. Sound good to you?
It sounds great.
All right, we had wildly different score predictions for this game. I had 35-10. I think you had 59-10. Ultimately, neither one of us was that close, but I think in theory, you were a lot closer than I was. The final score was
Yeah.
51-34. At
Shouldn't
one
have
point,
been 34.
Oregon was 48-13 in the third quarter. How did you feel after watching this game?
I felt like we lost the game. You
What?
know,
Okay. Just because that
it
second half?
that second half, man, you know how I feel about finishing. You know how I feel because as a player, you know what it sends, what type of message you're sending with that type of performance on the defensive end, defensive side of the ball. You're sending the message that there's holes. There's holes in your defense. There
Yeah.
literally is. 500 yards worth of it. Um, I was a little disappointed in the lack of mindset to just finish.
Hmm.
And you worked all throughout the offseason, battling back from injuries, staying healthy, the bruises, the rainy games, the cold games, all the things for you to just finish strong. That's what you got to do. But and you don't want to take it for granted. Like obviously I understand the game, right? They get players too. They have a game plan as well. They execute, at a high level to the competition that they played this year. I think we laid down the sword on defense, and I don't appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure they didn't appreciate it either, right? If
That's fair.
I'm a defensive guy, if I'm a defensive leader, if I'm an offensive leader, if I'm a leader on that team, I'm going back into that locker room and I'm saying something to the whole entire team, right? To address the team as a player leader, right? Hey, fellas, that was unacceptable. We have to finish. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard if we want to be national champions.
Yeah.
If we don't want to be national champions, that's a cool finish. That's good. Good enough. Good enough to get you beat by Ohio State or Indiana. So that's my mentality there. 'Cause you proved in the first half that you were able to stick it to them. You proved that you were able to hold them, out of the end zone. There was a lot of good red zone stances there. But the chunk plays, man, that can't happen.
I hear you, and I do hear everything you're saying, and I agree with it for the most part. But I also just I look at this much differently. Yes, this like Oregon gave up 509 yards, 34 points. Like that's not okay for sure against any competition. That's not okay.
197 yards in the first half.
Yeah, and
They've been
then
averaging
a lot
251
more.
yards a game
Hmm.
throughout the entire season. And JMU comes in here and basically says, "Oh, we'll match that in the first half."
Okay, but then you look at a lot of the points they put up. We're in the second, like late third quarter, fourth quarter against second, third, even fourth string guys out there. When the starters were on the field, Oregon looked pretty freaking good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing. Like it is a tale of two halves. I get it, but they looked so good when they were out there and like trying. And yes, they should have been trying the entire game. I understand that, but when they were out there, it was like, oh man, this team can do some damage this year if they stay locked in like that, which I believe they will against
Mhm. I don't know,
better
man.
opponents.
I honestly think even when the starters were out there, that first half, the starters were out there. 197 yards, trick plays or no trick plays. I don't care. You have to be ready,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we can address it and say, "Oh no, but the starters looked good," they held them out of the end zone in the first. Like when the starters were out there in the first half in that third quarter, they didn't look great. They were giving up chunk plays. And if I'm in the playoffs, it's not okay because your one team, the Texas Tech, is over here saying, "Oh, nope. Oh,
Hmm.
we like," and it's fundamental things, right? Like they were setting us up for these types of plays. I mean, I look at the double pass, right?
Hmm.
The play before that, they knew that we had aggressive safeties coming down into the box and being run fitters, right? You're allowed to play cover two when you have aggressive safeties, um, because they're going to be willing and able to get down in that box to make a stop on the edge, right?
Hmm.
So the play before that, we had our safety crash, make a play, boom. The following play, they ran a little, what was it, swing, a double
Hmm.
pass, a swing to
Hmm.
the left. And what did our safety do?
A bit.
He bit.
So to the corner.
Okay. So guess what? Guess what I'm doing if I'm a offensive coordinator? Hmm.
Hmm.
Aggressive
Yeah.
safeties, not discipline, right?
Yeah.
So these are things that will absolutely come and bite you in the butt if you don't fix it. And so that's the reason why I'm my mindset now. We're in playoffs. There's no more. It's no more. Oh, we'll get them next time. Oh, we'll have another game next week. No, you lose, you're done.
But see, all of this is why, I mean, me just being an optimist, like I see this as a really like almost perfect outcome. Oregon looked great.
I'm
And
the optimist of all optimists here.
okay, well then I'm being the optimist right now because you're not. Oregon looked great, but they also left in a
They
way
look
where
good.
they feel like they have to be much
No,
better.
Zach.
They're gonna get coached really
Zach, they
hard over the next
looked
2
good
weeks.
on offense.
They looked great on offense, let's be
They
real.
look great on offense. Defensively,
Defense needs a lot of improvement, yeah.
you need to put some soap in your mouth. All right, hot sauce on your lips.
Yeah.
Go stand in the
I'm
corner.
sure they will over these next 2 weeks. And that's what I like. I mean, they're if they had won 51 to 13, 51 to 10, 59-10, like you predicted, like
Mhm.
they'd be feeling all high and mighty over these next 10 days going into Texas Tech thinking that no one can touch them.
So maybe this is
They
a good thing, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. This is the perfect
Okay.
outcome. They
All
showed
right.
how
Tired
good
of the
they
both
can
of them.
be, but they also now they're going to get Dan's coaching them so
Oh
hard
yeah,
this week.
coaching them hard. I mean, they were probably coaching
Exactly.
themselves when they got into the locker room. Like, nah,
Exactly.
fellas,
So this is
turn
the
that music
perfect
off.
outcome.
I don't want to hear no music. I don't want to hear no laughter. I don't want to hear no joking. As a matter of fact, you're not eating for 2 hours. You need to
Yeah.
fast and think about what you just did.
They were I mean, during interviews after the game, like, there's always the interview room is right next to the locker room. It's always so loud with music playing. There was no
Mhm.
music playing. Players
Oh,
were saying, like,
good.
"Yeah, there are people in there acting like we lost right now." Like, people are
Oh,
not
well,
happy.
perfect. So you
Yeah,
were. That's what
exactly.
you. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh
they're
yeah, bro.
mad.
Look, this is why this podcast is amazing, ladies and
They're
gentlemen. We got
pissed
Zachary
off.
Neel. He got boots on the ground. He's in there getting the vibe and all that. So they was pissed off.
Oh, they were pissed off. Yeah,
Okay, so
they
I don't have to be pissed off so much.
no, you're
I
good.
can be a little
Lanning
happy.
and players and Tosh and coaches, I mean, they were all saying after, like, "This, I'm pissed off." They knew that that was not the outcome they wanted. They got the win,
Yeah,
but they knew that they
okay.
could look so much better.
'Cause, bro, 5 drives, 50 yards plus,
Yeah.
that's not okay. 6
Well,
score 6 scoring drives. I don't care, man. Look, I get it. It's not okay. It's not. It's JMU. I psh,
well, and
too
a
late. Listen,
99-yard drive to cover the spread in the 4th quarter. Ouch. That
ouch.
was
Hey,
tough.
FanDuel people,
I'm
out
sorry.
there just real pitiful right now.
God, yeah.
But you know what? Shout out to JMU. No,
Yeah,
first
they played
off,
great.
shout out to Kurt Signetti because he set them off on a great foot, okay?
Yeah.
And then, Mr. Chesney comes in there and says, "Hey, I'll pick
Mhm,
up the pieces." And then, but if I had to grade the coaches that now have new coaching jobs, if I had to grade, I'd give Will Stein an A.
mhm.
I'll give Bob a B minus.
Okay.
I'll give Tosh Lapoy a D. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is on you, dog.
that's
Because
fair.
I know you got another job. You got the Cal Bear job, and you over here in 2 different places at once. All right? I get it. It's hard. You signed up for it though, dog. And you
Sure.
gotta have your guys ready. You can't have the same recipe that you had against JMU going in there against Texas Tech. Because if you do, you're gonna get ran up out of Florida.
It's
Okay?
very true.
You're gonna get ran up out of it. You can come up to Charlotte. It's only a couple, skipping and playing around. You come over there and we can go golf and whatnot before you go home because that's exactly what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be golfing and coaching. Okay? Coaching in Cal. All right. So you might as well get your golf in while you're on your way back. Okay.
Yeah,
Because if not, you got to make sure you have these guys, the sense of urgency, you know, you have to take it personal, man.
mhm.
Personal. Take it personal. Because if not, who else will?
I
Nobody.
wanna talk about, Dante more. He was great
Elite.
in this game. It feels like
What?
the nation is, like, kinda starting to wake up to him a little bit as you get these
Mhm.
standalone primetime games. I've
Yeah.
thought all year that he was likely to come back. Saturday was the first time where it's like, I think he's
You know,
going because if he continues to play like this, it's gonna be really hard to hang on to him and not
you
let
know
him
what
go
I,
to the
you know
draft.
what I realized with all this college stuff, man?
What's
It's
that?
all about to go by the wayside, man. Heisman Trophy, all of it.
Mhm.
It's whatever now these days.
Yeah,
Whatever. I'm getting paid. Just give me my check so that way I can go to the league.
yeah.
Dante Moore is the best. He is the most qualified college football player in all college football to
Okay.
go to the next level.
Yeah.
Period. And how many games has he had? 18?
That was his, I think, 18th start, maybe 19th start.
Listen, sky's the limit for this fella, man.
Mhm.
Like these people out here chasing teams, chasing opportunities, chasing stories, talking about the Heisman, talking about this school, that school, Alabama, Indiana, Ohio State. No, it's Oregon because they got Dante Moore. Okay, Dante, it's nice. I'm glad I got to meet you, young fella, because hey, you got it going on.
He's got a bright future.
He's got a bright future, and the way he is able to, he like Tez was not lying to us. Tez
Mm,
saw it
mhm.
from practice reps. He saw it.
Yeah. Like, that guy's different.
Tez, you need to be a scout in your next life, like your next future, your next job or whatever, because you saw it from the gate. He said he got the best, he got the prettiest ball that I've ever seen. The prettiest, okay? And he's been
Wasn't
playing
lying.
receiver all his life. So
Yeah.
he's seen a lot of quarterbacks.
Brothers with
Okay.
Bo Nix.
Brothers with Bo Nix. He basically said, Bo Nix, you second to this young man. And Bo Nix over here playing in the playoffs in NFL second year.
Mhm.
Your
Got that
team,
number 1 seed, baby.
Denver Broncos. Sorry,
Mhm.
sapsuckers. Hey, you seen what them Carolina Panthers is doing?
I
Yeah,
see.
we over
It
here
looked good.
shocking the world,
It
boy.
looked good. Yeah, we'll see.
Bryce
Um,
Young, number one quarterback in the league now from last
I
week's
wouldn't.
performance.
I wouldn't.
Last
I
week's
wouldn't go
performance, he
that.
was number one.
Okay, that's
Last week,
fine.
he was number one.
1 week. All right,
91.6.
we're gonna get derailed here if we start talking about our NFL teams.
They can't wait to hear this.
I really want to talk about Jeremiah McLullen and Malik Benson. I was really
Mm-hmm.
impressed with them in this game because in a game when you get Decorian Moore and Gary Bryant Jr. back, these other two guys are like, well, not so fast. Like we are still the guys right now, and I think
Yeah,
that's fair. Like you're getting Dak and Gary like kind of back in the mix and getting them on that slow train back.
that's
But
what they call him. They call him Dak.
yeah, Dak Decorian.
Can't
You
call him
like that?
Dak.
Don't like that?
I don't like that.
What about Corey? People call him Corey too.
There you go. Call him Corey. Don't call him Dak. There's
Fine,
already
I
a
like Dak.
Dak.
It's fine.
Dak Prescott, man, listen, that's Dallas Cowboys, man. He taking over.
Okay.
His name is
All right.
Dak, and Dak,
Okay.
he's the. When people say
Corey.
Dak, they mean
Corey.
Dak Prescott.
Okay. All right. Benson
Sorry,
had.
it's
You're good.
8:30 out here, and
I know it's
I
late.
listen.
You're cold.
I'm acting my age tonight.
You're
Old.
cold. Feverish. We got to get off this spot. Benson was great in this game. 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. McLullen, 83 yards,
Mm.
1 touchdown. Those guys have been so good while Gary and Corey have been out over the past month and just stepping up. And now, likely all 4 of them back, maybe even Evan Stewart back next game. Like, this team has weapons. That's why I'm just so confident about where this team is.
What are they saying about Malik Benson, like, after games? Like, when you go into those little press conferences and all the other media and teammates, whatever it is, like, what's the buzz around him?
He's so fast.
Yeah.
People just say
Like,
and they're just like so impressed with how he's stepped up. Because like when he
yeah.
came in, people weren't thinking he was gonna be like all that's special.
Mhm.
And then he's kind of stepped up and he's been a game changer over the past
Game changer,
2
yes.
months. So
He
yeah,
definitely
they're
got
high on him.
Yeah, he definitely, earned an opportunity at the next level the last couple
Yeah,
of weeks. So
absolutely.
shout out to him. We had a chance, obviously, to talk to him,
Mhm.
me and Kenyon on Doph, and you know, it's cool just to hear people's stories and where they had to come from and what they've had to go through to get to where they are. And his story is one that I just smile whenever I see him, execute, plays and make big plays. And he's going to continue to do so. But, you know, that is just the testament to, again, the coaching staff offensively for this game. Um, um, you know, it's just something to say. Like if you don't have guys that are capable of stepping up on the roster, on your depth chart, to do what Malik Benson has done, you're failing. That's the standard in my eyes.
Mhm.
You have guys able to step in and be game changers, not just guys that are like, I'm going to make a catch here and there and leave the game with 3 catches and 25 yards. No, not Malik Benson, not his receiver coach, not Will Stein. And Dan Lanning just over there grinning. But then you look to that defense this last week and you just say, buzzkill.
They'll pick it up. They'll pick it up. Do you have anything else on this game before we talk about the rest of the playoff as a whole and then move forward?
4 fourth down conversions.
Yeah, that defense.
Good God Almighty! Listen, don't do it again. Okay, don't do it again.
Can't afford to.
You can't afford to. And I ain't gonna sugarcoat this going here forward. I hope they hear this. Listen, if you listening to this, send this to Tosh. Let him know that this is unacceptable. Ron Rivera, over there down in Cal, who just hired you, will not
Oh,
put
that's
up
true.
with this BS. You hear me? Especially from the defense. Hell no. Okay?
I didn't even make that connection that you have that connection with Ron
Yeah.
and Tosh at Cal.
No, look, Ron Rivera ain't gonna play that.
Yeah.
I might come to a couple Cal games next year just to
You
check
just
up on
start a Cal podcast now.
you. Oregon South.
That was great.
Oregon Panther South,
Yeah. All right.
Southwest.
Let's talk about the rest of the college football playoff before we move on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alabama had a wild comeback over Oklahoma on Friday night. Miami beat Texas A&M in a dogfight. I'm not really sure what to call that. Maybe just like two bad teams where someone had to win.
Water balloon fight, man.
Water balloon fight. That's good. Tulane got boat raced by Ole Miss. Do you have
That's what we
any?
should have did to JMU.
I mean, they did for the most part,
We
but yeah.
did for the most part, but Tulane looked like they didn't belong there at all.
Any big
Okay.
takeaways from any of those games?
Hmm.
I
I
was
mean,
largely unimpressed.
I think, you know, Alabama being able to come back from that deficit is speaks volumes to their grit.
Okay,
Um,
but don't get down by that much in the first place.
yeah, but I mean, technically, I look at that matchup and say to myself, this is a matchup that we are looking forward to. Like, show me something, Oklahoma. And they did a little bit. 17 points out the gate. All right. And then Alabama showed who they were.
That's true.
And I think that's what you want to see out of a team that's worthy of being in the playoffs, right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, if there's any question as far as whether or not they belong in the playoffs, they erased that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they did. I think Miami's defense showed out for the most part against Texas A&M. I mean, or yeah, I don't know how special Texas A&M is after watching that. But the defense showed up. I think maybe the weather. I don't know. Like, was it wet? It was windy.
I think it was real
Had to be
windy,
windy.
yeah. The
Yeah. So
kickers
I
were
think
struggling.
the Yeah, because I think that might be one of the factors for Miami's offense, hopefully, because they were non-existent. So we'll see what's in store for them moving forward. I think Ole Miss was pretty impressive, not because of who they played, but how they played. Right? You were
Yeah.
supposed to be the guy that you were supposed to be the team that comes in there and beats the brakes off of Tulane, but you have a coaching situation with Lane Kiffin where he left on weird terms. And there's a lot of tabloids out there for these young guys to have to focus in and dial in and not have any distractions about going forward. So their mental toughness, I think offensively they showed that they were sharp.
Mhm.
Um, Capitalizing on some turnovers, defense doing their thing like they're supposed to. And then I
Of
look at Oregon.
Yeah.
They handled their business, but it was bad business.
That's fine. We'll move past that one. Of any of those other teams, Alabama, Miami, or Ole Miss, who would you pick to win in the next round if you had to pick one of the 3? So, Alabama against Indiana, Miami against Ohio State, or Ole Miss against Georgia. If you had to pick an upset of those 3, which one would you pick?
Man, that's a good question. Who do I have on my bracket?
That's a good question too. Let me pull that up real quick.
I think I have
You
I
have
got
oh geez, I gotta scroll.
I
I was
got
tweeting way
Georgia
too much.
winning against Ole Miss.
I'm pretty sure you have all favorites.
Yeah.
I don't think you picked any upsets from this.
I
I've got
would
it right
say
here.
Ole Miss might have more of a chance to
Yeah,
win out of those 3.
you have Georgia, Indiana, and Ohio State winning.
Yeah.
You
I
think
think I
Ole
have
Miss over Georgia is the
I
biggest
think that
chance?
could potentially be the biggest chance of an upset.
I'm curious to see. I'm not picking the upset, but I think if I had to choose one of those, it would be Alabama over Indiana. Um,
Oh.
Indiana, like, I don't want to
The
put this on
Heisman
them.
quarterback can't make his case.
I could see them being kind of like Oregon was last year, where
Mhm.
they had all this. I mean, they got smoke blown up there. You know what? All year long, they are the team, the Big Ten champion. It's kind of new for them. It's not really new for Oregon as much as it is Indiana. But then you have this month off. You got a really good, respected team that
Uh,
gets a tune-up game. I don't know. I could just see it playing out. I still think Indiana's going to win because I think they're a really good team. But I'm not
so Kurt
opposed to the
Signetti
idea.
gonna have them boys relaxed, huh?
I don't know. It's just, Alabama's a good team. There's a lot of 5 stars
Yeah,
on that team, and they've got a tune-up game now. They're rolling
yeah,
after coming back from 17 down.
yeah.
I
That is a
wouldn't be
good point.
surprised if that
Boy,
happens. So,
you made it make sense. I'm gonna buckle up in your car, okay? Let me get
okay.
in. You got a seat for me in there?
I got you, man.
All
We'll
right, I'm
stop
gonna
and hit some
buckle up.
golf courses along the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna buckle up in that seat and go with Alabama being
Okay.
the team to beat Indiana,
I
mess up
think
my
that
whole bracket.
I think that could happen. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. All right, before we move forward, I want to tell you guys a bit about Backer. It's an outerwear company founded by an Oregon alum that Jay Stu and I have had the pleasure of working with recently. I got to meet Corey this past weekend. They had a pop up shop at the Graduate Hotel here in Eugene. I'm told that they
Hmm.
sold a lot of great stuff ahead of that cold game. So it was also really cool. I noticed during the game, like, on the Jumbotron, they show fans during timeout and stuff. And I saw several fans in Backer gear. I was like, oh,
That's
yes,
sweet.
that's awesome. So, if you have not checked it out yet, I highly encourage you to do so. It's incredible stuff, high performance materials. I seriously wear it all the time. They've got waterproof jackets, cool jackets, insulated jackets, handful of hats. Go to backer.com. That's bckr.com. Use the promo code BELIEVE10. That's BLEAV10 at checkout. You get free expedited shipping and 10% off of your purchase. Again, this is great stuff. I'm really happy that we get to work with them and happy to promote their stuff. It's really some of the best on the Oregon market. All right, I want to check out the latest championship odds brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Ohio State still the favorite at plus 180. Indiana is at plus 300. They were at plus 320. Georgia at plus 500. They were at plus 600 before this past weekend. Oregon down to plus 700. They were plus 800. And Texas Tech plus 950 now, and they were at plus 850. So a little bit of movement there between Oregon and Texas Tech, where Oregon, I think, jumped them in the odds and Tech's odds went up. But, we told you before, these Oregon odds were going to drop. We told you if you wanted to
Hmm.
get them while you could, because I think if Oregon beats Tech next game, those odds are
Yeah,
going to drop to probably around 300 or so. So
yeah.
if you want that number, get it now because it's not going to be there for long if they win. All right, let's look ahead to Texas Tech a little bit. For starters, Dan today went on a passionate tangent about how this game should be played in Lubbock instead of Miami. I don't know if you saw any of that. Give Texas Tech a home game, give them that home field advantage.
Well, yeah.
I have a feeling you agree with this.
Listen, we've been talking about this. This college football stuff, man. Listen, it's 9 o'clock at night p.m. Eastern. I'm honest. I'm the most honest at this time of night.
You're always
So we might
honest.
as- we might as well have the podcast be called 9 p.m.
Leave
Okay.
after dark.
Believe after dark. But listen, the college football stuff, it makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
How you gonna have the 5 seed get a home football game in front of that crowd, but these top 4 seeds don't get no home games?
Ugh, that's awful.
How, how, brother? We just talked about this last year, okay? As far as what was missing, and we talked about it, and y'all ain't fix it.
Yeah.
And so here we are again, going to this glorified Florida game where ain't gonna be no Oregon fans, ain't gonna be no Texas Tech fans. Okay? It's just gonna be a bunch of, you know, what do you call them? Corporate folks,
Yeah.
right? Hey, we got a corporate gathering down there in Florida. Bring your whole team and bring that customer and this consumer and all this stuff. And to the people of Florida, they're gonna be like, who? Who's Decorian Moore? Where's Miami playing at? Why ain't they in the Orange Bowl? That's what they're gonna be questioning. Okay, don't know nothing about what's going on, and here we are taking our sorry behinds down there to Oregon. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean to
To Florida.
Florida when it should be wherever Texas Tech play at. I don't know where they
Lubbock.
play at. What's it
Lubbock.
called? Lubbock,
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock,
West
Texas, where
Texas.
where the gas is high or probably cheap.
Probably cheap. They got oil money.
They got oil money. Shoot, Texas Tech, they owner probably somebody that got the oil money and the gas.
I'm sure he does.
He got a showcase. Okay, he trying to do some business in his town. But here we are going to Florida.
Are you going?
I don't know yet.
You should go.
You know what? I should protest. I'm protesting the college football playoffs.
Oh, you're not going? Okay, that's gonna do something. I'm sure
I'm I'm
that'll get them to
I'm
change.
I'm protesting. Everybody need to protest these bowl games for the playoffs.
Stu, that is not the message that this podcast is supposed to be sending out. Don't go to Oregon games, everyone listening.
No, go
No,
to Oregon
stop.
games. But at the end of the day, listen, it's all backwards. That's what I'm really
It
getting
is.
my point across, everybody.
It is.
Because it doesn't make any sense. If we are actually trying to get the elite matchups, we need to have elite presence. We need to have elite opportunities for these fans to really engage and make a difference in these games. College playoffs should be just like the NFL playoffs. The atmosphere and playoffs should be wow, we're having to go to their house and it's going to be loud.
Well, and
And
it's
there's
just
nothing we can do about it.
fans now are being priced out of all of this. I mean, if you're an Oregon fan that wants to go to every Oregon game, you got to get
It costs too
airfare
much.
and tickets to Miami, and then airfare and tickets to Atlanta, and then airfare and tickets to Miami again
That's what
for the
I'm saying, man.
championship.
It's
Like
the
that's
corporate fans, man.
$15,000 to do
Yeah.
all of this. It's just crazy.
Yeah. If you work for Geico or AT&T or one of them big companies, you might get a ticket. That's about it.
That's fair. All right, let's talk about this actual game. We are going to preview a lot more next week as we get closer, but we can kind of dive in a little bit. What are your early thoughts on this game? What are you kind of intrigued by early on as we look at this matchup?
I mean, I feel like their quarterback, Morton.
Baron Morton,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Um, I think he's a accurate passer.
Mhm. It's
I think
solid.
it's part of their offense and how they run their offense. I don't think, but he doesn't strike me as anything as a threat uh,
He's
per
not
se.
Dante.
Nah, he's listen. We don't even worry about Dante. Listen, we don't even got to talk about Dante more ever again on this podcast because it's almost blasphemy to even like have to feel like we should be sharing something that should be already known about him, right? Like
Okay.
right now he's the
Yeah.
go to college football.
Yeah.
Um, so but I think defensively, this Texas Tech team is potent. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, we look at JMU and they kind of thrived on defense for the most part. I think this is going to be times three at least.
Mhm.
Um, and so when it comes to any challenges, I think offensively for Oregon, we accept those challenges. I
Totally.
think we have a lot of we've proven that we have the ability to do every and anything out of any personnel. And I think that's what's scary about Oregon's offense. The ability to
Yeah.
go 11, 12, 13, 23, whatever you want to do, we can run all
Mhm.
the same plays. And it helps when you have a guy named Kenyon Sadiq, right?
Mhm.
And then, I think, you know, especially it being in Florida, like there is no advantage for any team. So
Mhm.
I think that goes in our favor. Um, yeah, I just think that this is a game that we should be capable of walking away from with a lot of confidence.
I agree. I feel good about Oregon's defense against Tech's offense. I don't think they're going to struggle too much there. Tech has a good offense. They're the number 3 scoring offense in the nation. They average over 40 points per game. I think the numbers are slightly skewed just based on the opponents in the Big 12. The
Opponents.
Big 12 is not that great. I do think Tech is a good team, but I don't think that they're better than Indiana or USC.
Mm-mm.
I think those are better offenses. So if you flip things, though, that's where the game is for me. Can Oregon score on Tech's defense? Their defenses, I mean, you could make the argument that they, next to Ohio State, have the best defense in the nation. We saw what Oregon did against Indiana. Like, you can say that, Oregon's played one real defense all year, and that was
Yeah,
Indiana. Like, one legitimately great defense, that was Indiana. Oregon struggled against them. I'm sure that they've learned a lot. I'm sure that they will be prepared. I like that the rust/rest factor is in Oregon's
Yeah.
favor this time. That Indiana or that Tech is going to be off for a month, and Oregon will have 10 days. Still, the biggest questions for me are on the offense for Oregon. Dante was fantastic against JMU. How does he look against this defense? That's going to tell a lot to how he learns, how he prepares, and the ability to not make the moment bigger than it needs to be, which he talked about a lot after that Indiana game. Said that he made it too much. He got into his head too much, psyched himself out. So, how free are they able to play? How much can this offense click against this very good defense? That's where this game is for me.
Yeah. And you speak about the rust factor, right? You know, one way to catch a team that's rusty off balance,
Hmm.
not necessarily to just punch them in the mouth, is to outrun them.
Hmm.
So I think our speedy receivers, especially the guys that are getting healthier and healthier these weeks leading up to that game, we should be all systems go at that point, right? So I would expect this game to start off running, literally fast, hit them over the top, surprise plays, something, just to catch them off guard. The guys that are sitting at home feeling relaxed. You gotta wake them up, um, and I think you do that early and often. So, and I
Yes.
think and I think Coach Lanning, I think there's literally an advantage for us coming off of last year. There was a lot of guys on this team that played on the team last year, and there has to be a lot of talk about, hey, we were here in the same position last year, and this is what
Mhm.
we did, and this is what we are going to do now as
Yeah.
far as preparation. So I think we will be the more ready team. So I
Yeah.
think that's also in our favor.
And that means you gotta, jump out early. Like I
Hmm.
think it was so valuable last year for Ohio State to get out and I think score on their first two possessions and then jump
Yeah.
out. Ultimately, it was I think 34-0 in the first half, but
Hmm.
for them to just get out early and like kind of smack them in the face before they even kind of know what's happening, I think
Yeah.
that's going to be really important. So,
And defense has to choke Texas
yes,
Tech out, literally
yeah,
choke them out.
yeah,
Like,
they got to be
hey,
better.
you trying to eat? Spit that food out.
No excuses, got to be better.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up there. We will be back on early next week after the holidays to prepare you for this game. Jay Stu, I know you got family in town, so good luck with that. First off, what did you ask for Christmas this year?
Peace and quiet.
Oh, is that it? That's actually a very good
Hmm.
call.
Yeah, man. Peace and quiet,
That's
my dog.
sounds really nice. That sounds really nice. I showed my age. I asked for a leaf blower from,
Nice.
and honestly, it's a
Yeah.
good gift. I was like, I need a new leaf blower, so
Yeah.
hopefully Santa will bring that. We'll see.
All right, man. Well, enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Absolutely, you as
Make
well.
sure you love on them babies and make sure that you guys get healthy.
Yeah, everyone needs to be healthy before New Year's in
All right.
Miami. So that'll be fun. All right. You can check out more of my work at ducksmarter.usatoday.com. Follow me as Zachary C. Neel on Twitter. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter at Jonathan Stu R1 and make sure to check out all of his stuff there. For myself, Zach Neel, for my co-host Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and take it easy.